As we just heard from Governor Dean, the decision to put the MEK on the foreign terrorist organization list was a pure political decision. It has no factual basis. It no longer has a legal basis, and the State Department is wasting time and threatening and jeopardizing many lives by this prolonged delay, which, as you know, was a year's anniversary just on Saturday, when the State Department sent this matter, the Court of Appeals in Washington sent this back to the State Department and said, one, you violated the constitutional rights of due process for this organization. Two, you have not convinced us, a majority of the Court, that the sources you're relying upon to determine this group as a foreign terrorist organization are credible. Go back, do it again, and allow the MEK to see your information and see your sources. Well, that has not happened. In a year's time, what we've seen in the State Department is delay, obfuscation, obstruction, impediments, and no decisions. This is not, as Governor Dean said, a difficult decision. This is a decision, if you base it on the facts and the law, is a no-brainer, as we would say in English. The facts here are very clear. This is an organization that has renounced violence. It has turned over its weapons to the United States forces. It has provided critical information to the United States and to other governments with respect to the development of the nuclear power program, as they call it, in Tehran. It has done everything in a law-abiding way. Mrs. Rajavi's 10-point plan is a eloquent A-class human rights plan, respecting the rights of freedom of religion and women, which not only in Iran but in many other places in the world are rights that are not protected. You know, when the organization was put onto the foreign terrorist organization in 1997, I happened to be in the FBI. The FBI, as you probably know, is responsible for counterterrorism investigations outside the United States, and that is one of the responsibilities we have. Nobody ever consulted us, by the way, from the State Department, or asked our opinion whether or not we thought this organization should be on the list. When we received the directive from the State Department, it was the only foreign terrorist organization in the FBI that we didn't assign anybody to work because we didn't think there was anything there worthwhile to work. So imagine having an organization designated as a terrorist group by the State Department and nobody's investigating it. Well, that was in 1997. We're now very far down the road. The facts and the law are totally inconsistent with maintaining this organization as a terrorist organization. And the nonsense and the confusion, quite honestly, coming out of our State Department and some of its ambassadors is absolutely mind-boggling. You know, dismantle your organization and move. It would be the equivalent of, you know, the Western powers in the 1930s saying that they should dismantle the Warsaw Ghetto and that the Jews trapped there should move out and go somewhere. The United States has not only a moral but legal responsibility, a contractual responsibility, a lawyer would say, to protect the 3,400 residents in Camp Ashraf. This was a signed commitment. It was the promise of our United States government made through our military. The people who signed those pledges have complied 100% with everything they said we were supposed to do. We cannot ignore it. We cannot hide our heads. We have a moral responsibility to do that. The notion that we can move and transport the camp makes absolutely no sense. In 1997, when this happened, the FBI was in the middle of a criminal investigation directed against the bombing events. You may have remembered them in 1996 in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. Khobar Towers was blown up. 19 Americans were killed. Servicemen who, by the way, were enforcing the no-fly zone over Saddam Hussein's Iraq at the time. So we opened up a criminal investigation. We found very quickly, through a lot of hard work and investigations outside the United States, that the Hezbollah group that attacked and killed those 19 Americans were funded, trained, recruited, and protected by the IRGC. This was a classic IRGC operation.